Good morning, everybody. It's Darshana Avila coming to you from the 15th day of Power to the P, my month of mindful masturbation. So we are officially over the halfway mark. There's a way in which I'm like, whew, yeah. It's an interesting thing when you put pleasure on the to-do list in this way, like literally it's on my to-do list. What that does to your relationship, to your practices, and to pleasure in general. And I've really been in that inquiry. So yesterday I was having a session, a conversation with my coach, because like just like therapy, if your therapist isn't in therapy, if your coach isn't in coaching, like you need to make sure that your person is doing their work as well. So I have my own somatic sex and intimacy coach who's a fantastic resource for me. And I was in a session with him and I was having a bit of a crisis, like an identity crisis. I'm like, oh my God, I am so not turned on right now. Where is my libido? Like, and it was confronting for me because that is definitely a part of my self identity, what I know myself to be, who I know myself to be, how I move in the world and in relationship. And something just really shifted last week between the busyness and the sickness and making this a obligation that it's been hard for me to access turn on. Like the first week and a half or so, it was really like, oh, this is fantastic. And now I'm in a different phase. And that's part of why I'm doing these video blogs. I want to be able to share with you and also to track for myself the arc of this journey, and that there are many dips and rises and waves that we're going to be riding as we undertake this for ourselves. And so for me right now, it's just been, I'm not feeling very sexual. Like, that saying, she's just not that into you. I feel like I'm just not that into myself. We're not into sex, and it's confronting. So I had a great session with my coach, and it did get steamy, and I did feel my arousal, and I was super grateful for that, just to have that reminder of like, yeah, it's okay to be having these ebbs and flows, and there's nothing wrong with me, and I haven't stopped being my own true self. These are different expressions of myself. And in honor of that, this morning, I ended up getting up really early, what else is new, and going to a morning meditation and movement practice where we sat for 20 minutes in silence and then had an hour of dancing. And I let that be the foundational piece of my self-pleasure. I totally took out of the equation getting like hands-on with myself in an overtly sexual way. I just wanted to feel my own vitality and my erotic pulse showing itself, moving itself as aliveness through me. And I got to do that in a really beautiful way because it's a big space and I could move in really large and expressive ways. And it turned out that that was a big piece of what my body was wanting. I was doing a lot of like spinning and running and rolling around on the floor and big movement. And it felt so good, really, really good to just let my energy flow unbridled and without a script that I was following or without this sense of, oh, you have to do it this way, that I needed to get into a specific quality of masturbation in order for me to fulfill my commitment to you, to me, to this journey. And so again, this is not the first time in this container that I've come up against this important reminder, the creativity and the freedom that we can give ourselves to have our practice take whatever shape it authentically wants to is some of the richest, most precious material that comes from this experience. So yeah, it was fantastic for me to get to have that. And then I decided to have a hot tub soak, and I was laying in a hammock, just staring at a redwood tree. And I had one hand resting on my heart and the other hand over my yoni, and just breathing into that connection and starting to really take in nature, to feel the eroticism that is at the core of everything. And it's always around us, and it's in the elemental world. And a redwood, beautiful phallic symbol that it is, I just sat there kind of transfixed. And as I'm rocking in the hammock and I'm swaying and my hands started to just shake and vibrate my body a bit, and felt this sense of communion with this tree, of union with this tree. And I was delighted in the simplicity of that, and to just feel my own pleasure and my own arousal happening. Not me trying to make it happen. It was just there for sake of being, for sake of breathing, for sake of slowing down, for sake of speeding up when I wanted to on the dance floor, and just letting my body have its authentic expression. It ended up being the most nourishing practice I've had in a while. And I am curious to see what's going to go on with my libido. I'm not going to lie. It's like I had an opportunity last night to connect with a lover, and it just wasn't there for me. And there's some sadness around that for sure, and some curiosity, and kind of like, what's going on here? But I'm staying the course, and I'm doing my best in these moments when judgment arises to come back to compassion, and to remember that really this is not just about self-pleasuring, but self-love and self-acceptance and embracing all that is, which really, from a tantric perspective, is what it's all about. What would it be like if we moved through the world without rejecting and resisting any facet of our experience, but instead open to a full embrace, an unconditional positive regard for all that's there? Quite a tall order, it might seem like. It certainly is, but it feels really worth it to me. So glad to be able to share this report with you. Would love to hear how some of you are doing out there. It's been a few days since anyone's written or commented, and it makes me curious. Are people still doing their practice? What's going on? Whatever the case may be, I am committed to being here for every day of the month of February, come hell or high water. So there's more to follow, and I'll be back with you tomorrow, which happens to be my birthday. And I'm trying to not let that put pressure on what my practice needs to be like, oh, I've got to give myself an amazing orgasm because it's my birthday. Maybe, maybe not. We'll see how it flows. Okay, be well. See you soon.